Let me just confirm that it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Let me also confirm that the book is open. Okay. So, nice weekend. So let's do a quick prayer. Master Jesus, here we are together once more in this humble study to deepen our understanding about mediumship, to prepare ourselves to become better tools in your hands. Be with us through this study, giving us the intuitions to ask the right questions, to volunteer the right experiences, and to be able to understand what our brother Kardec brought to us. Be with us today and always. So be it.
So be it. Amen.
Share my screen. Good with the book. Share. Yes, share. Just look here a bit better like that. All right then. I was checking this morning and I could see that you guys have stopped last week on the item 253. Munir, have you discussed this item or that was...
No. We stopped here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we start from there. However, we must avoid attributing the direct action of spirits to all troubles, which are usually the result of our own carelessness and lack of foresight. Something that happens very often to all of us is that sometimes we believe, or we want to believe, that what is happening because there is a spirit doing something. It's better not to be like that. It's better to be more conservative and try to eliminate every other possibility before we start to consider there are some spirits doing anything around us, all right? I don't want to say that we should go to the extreme saying that there is no spirit doing anything, but we must evaluate all the other possibilities before we do so. Hi, Charles.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
There is an expression in that I discovered in Brazil, which is very characteristic, is tenho encosto. How do you spell that in English?
In English, let me see here. Let me use my...
And tenho encosto means there is a spirit bothering me. And also the people often say, I need to make a cleaning in my house or in my flat or wherever. And when they came to the Spiritist Center asking, can you come and clean my house? The mentor I had there, the incarnated mentor, said always, we are not a cleaning company, sorry. Because obviously who is attracting those bad spirits are the inhabitants, is not the place itself.
I had a look here in the translator what that could be in coastal, and in English could be a backrest, but makes no sense in English, right? But basically is a spirit that is attached to us. And you saying that about people asking someone to clean my house, I've seen that so many times.
There is a spirit in my back, on my
And
back,
yeah,
on my
spiritual
shoulder.
backrest. Yeah.
Voilà.
And I even remember that recently I saw a person describing a process that he was using to cleanse his house with cinnamon and this and that. This is not spiritism, right? This is not spiritism. But one thing that happens very often is people that are coming from other philosophies, other religions, other beliefs. They try to bring what they like to the spiritism, right? And because people sometimes don't even understand what is or what is not, they start to be comfortable around those things. But there are things that are not part of this philosophy, and as such, should not be considered as a spiritism. Taking that opportunity, because I like the subject very much, how can we clean the environment that we are? Do we have any idea?
Well, prayers and good thoughts.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I'll mention something else as well. Our choices. Our choices. If I choose to be a good person, behave well, do charity, reduce the amount of stupid things I do, my environment will be cleaner, be more protected. And with the prayer and everything else, that's the way to go. Right? There are other philosophies that they believe if they use this or use that, I respect all of them. But before we use something like that, we need to evaluate if it does make sense. What is the consequence of doing something like that? It's just something because I feel like? Is something that I can use like a crutch? Is something like that I do because I saw someone doing? No. Spiritism is an evolving philosophy. We are all happy, or at least we should all be happy with that. But to incorporate anything into this philosophy, we need to use reason, science, and the practice. Because when we elaborate a theory, oh dear. Okay. I'm closing some mics here because of the noise, all right? So I lost a little bit, but before we validate a theory, we should analyze all the implications. We should see if we are applying reasoning to that theory. And after a period of time where we try this theory, then perhaps if we start to see the same thing happening in different points of the globe with different spiritist center, and that would be the universality of teachings of the spirits, and then yes, we may advocate that should be incorporated to the spiritism, to the philosophy. But before that, we should not. All right? We need to be careful with that. So let me go back to the test before I start to go away again. A farmer once wrote that to us. Hi, Liz. Before I go anywhere, your time.
I suppose it's not by chance that I just had a perfect example happen today. we had a meeting yesterday because my well has got silted up and I couldn't use it. And the neighbours had free water for 21 years from us, but they refused to pay. And this morning I woke up with a beautiful prayer given to me this morning, and I will share it on our site, which totally transformed how I looked at the situation. Because you can win or you can be a good person. You can still share even though you bear the brunt and the burden of the cost, but they're still your brothers and sisters. So you do not cut them off. You know, you try to rise higher and still cooperate. And try to make sure that no animosity comes from that, if you understand what I mean. I will share the prayer. It's a beautiful prayer.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. A farmer, very nice. A farmer once wrote to us that for 12 years, all sorts of misshapes had fallen his animals. His cows had either died or no longer gave milk, and his horses, sheep and pigs had died. He had offered many novenas which had not remedied the problem, nor had the masses he attended or the exorcisms he ordered. Thus, he believed, according to the farm superstitions, that his animals had been the target of spells. Deeming us unquestionably to possess greater power to conjure the priest of his village, than the priest of his village, he asked us for advice. Here is the response we received. The death or sickness of his men's animals stems from his infected stables, which has not cleaned because it would cost so much. You see? So the reason behind that was his own fault. He thought it was too expensive to clean the source of the disease that were killing his animals, right? So we should always try to see if there is another explanation to what we believe could be something spiritual. We shall close this chapter with the Spirit's response to a few other questions that will support what we have stated. Why can certain mediums free themselves from evil spirits who attack them? And why don't the good spirits whom they call upon have enough power to drive the others away and communicate through their intermediation? That's a very nice question, isn't it? Good spirits do not lack the power. Rather, the medium are almost never in position to help them. Their nature is more adequate for other relationships, and their fluid identifies more with one spirit than another. This is what gives such a power to the spirits who wants to deceive them. But let's go back to the question. It is very common, I would say even normal, that mediums don't want to be surrounded or affected by evil spirits. Am I right to say that? Yes. We don't want to have bad spirits around us. Nobody wants. But on the other hand, we don't do what we must do to prevent that to happen. Or we don't do enough what we should do to prevent that to happen. But even when we do everything right, this is not a formula that will prevent 100% suffering spirits, because I don't like to use the term evil, suffering spirits to become closer to us. sometimes those spirits will become near us because they need help. Sometimes they don't even know they need help, but they do. And that's why sometimes they come closer to us. Another thing that this question brings to my attention is that when we do have a suffering spirit around us, most of us, if not all of us, we want them to go away. We just want to get rid of the problem. Is that right? Due to the silence, I believe I'm right with what I just said.
It is right. Daniel.
So we all want that evil spirit or that suffering spirit to go away. We don't care about him. We just want him to go away. Go away from my home, go away from myself, from my kids, doesn't matter. But 9 out of 10 times, if a suffering spirit is close to us, it's because they have something to do with us. In the past, we had some implications together. Or today I'm doing something that disturbs what he does. So I'm also implicated on this. Wouldn't it be better that instead of wanting him to disappear, to go away, try to help them? How is my prayer? That is a powerful tool when I identify a suffering spirit around me. It's a prayer asking God, Jesus, all the spirits to take this spirit away from me, or ask them to help me to help him. There are some philosophies, even in the Spiritism, because there are different methods, right? People that believe that I just need to break the link between that spirit and the subject. That's all I need. That's the magic wand. I just want to stop my problem, to solve my problem. And then I don't care if the problem becomes someone else's problem. I just want to get rid of it. And using that word that Charles, I like that very much. That word that Charles described earlier today, encosto. I just want to get rid of my backpack. I just want to get rid of it. And a lot of people will come to the Spiritist Center trying to remove this inconvenience and giving that to the medium, to the healer, to anybody. The person just wants to get rid of it. He does not care. Simply wants to get rid of it. But there's one thing that we all need to know. Even if through some methods you can create some distance, this is not a permanent distance. And let's think about someone that is really irritated with you. When he is pushed away by some method, his anger will not reduce. It will be even the contrary, it will get even worse. And it will be back. It will be back. So you're not solving a problem. In the best case scenario, you are postponing a problem. So when we go to a mediumship meeting, and the true Spiritism should help everyone, helping those that are acting to create harm to others, we are helping everyone. So we need to be very careful with what we wish for, because we should wish to help everyone. Hi, Liz.
Hi there. A lot of the times when we find ourselves in a very uncomfortable situation, which we could put down to evil. We have to be careful that it doesn't make us blind to the possible test or the possible lesson that these have brought for us in whatever way it is. As you say, there's a connection or link to past deeds that we've done. But, you know, when it's tripping us up, how many times have we ignored it in the past?
Mhm. There are some events that was, I will use that word, but I don't like that word very much, but I will use that word to better understanding. It's a coincidence. I'm in a bad place, in a bad time, and the spirit was there. He just saw me, and he decided to annoy me for a period of time. It does happen. But most of the time, there are something in our past. In both cases, or even other cases that we are not mentioning here, there is a lesson to learn. There is an opportunity to grow. Always. You're right, Liz. However, it seems to us that there are truly deserving individuals who are morally irreprehensible, but who are nevertheless prevented from communicating with the good spirit. It is a trial. Who knows if they might not have a stain of evil in their heart? If it is a little pride does not hide behind the appearance of goodness, such trials reveal to be obsessed their weakness and that they should strive to be more humble. Before we continue here, whom does not have any little stain in his soul in this planet? We all have little marks. We all have little defaults, right? Is there anyone on the whole earth whom you can call perfect? Those who seem to possess all the appearance of virtue can still have many secret defects, an old leaven of imperfection. Thus, for example, you say that some particular man does not practice any evil, that he is loyal to all his social relationship, and that he is a good and worthy individual. But how do you know that those qualities are not stained with pride? I would like to speak a little bit about pride because as human beings that we are, we all have pride. Different degrees, but we all have a little pride. And pride can be very tricky because I may believe I have no pride at all, but I'm very proud to be here Saturday morning giving a study. I'm very proud to be doing a lecture on the internet. I may be very proud doing a lecture in front of a number of people, 10 or 1,000, doesn't matter. So pride is something that we still have within all of us. The key is to control that pride before it becomes something that we may regret. Another thing from this test here that made me think is, it's not because I'm not doing evil that I'm doing good. Sometimes I don't do anything bad, but not doing anything good is already bad because I'm neutral. I'm wasting an opportunity to grow. I'm wasting an opportunity to help. But I don't want to get engaged in anything. I don't want to get committed. My time is precious, and I cannot do anything. I'm happy the way I am. But eventually, we all will be facing an evaluation of the results we are getting back. And perhaps at that time, we may see things with a different pair of eyes. But then we'll be too late because we already wasted so much time. Time is something that nobody should ignore, right? And a lot of people, right? Oh, can you do that? No, no, I'm busy. I won't be able to do it because A, B, C, D. I cannot do that. No, no. And in that very same time allocated to the activity that the person denies to do to help or to study or whatever, he or she decides to be in front of TV. Watching Big Brother, for example. There's something very important in our lives nowadays, isn't it? So we need to be careful with our choices. Because why I'm saying that? Early today, we spoke about choices. How to clean my house, how to clean myself. Without choices. Without choices. I was speaking to a friend of mine the other day, and then he started to laugh a lot because I love to say one thing. One of the key elements to allow us to be surrounded by good spirits is our availability. It's our availability to work with them to do good. When we are working with good spirits to do something good to someone, that time, the suffering ones won't be annoying you because you're busy doing something good with good spirits. So availability is something fundamental for what you want to become or not. If you are not available, it's up to you. But if you are available to work with good spirits, and as a consequence with Jesus, with God, whatever you want to call, then you will be more protected. It's a consequence. It's a fact. Oh, well, but I need to have a balance in my life. I totally agree with that. But the balance in your life is dictated by your choices. If you understand that a balance in your life is to be here 1 hour per week studying something, and that is sufficient for you, that's fine by me. I have no problem with that. But how many other hours in that very same week you could have been engaged or performing some positive activity? How much time I'm allocating in my agenda per month? I'm not going to even speak per week, per month, to improve our own spirit. Improving our own spirit could be through a study, through an action, through an activity, through how many hours per month we are allocating to improve our spirit. Sometimes when we do that kind of question, people are very uncomfortable with, because they are led to evaluate themselves. And because we already been together for years now, right? Being together here, we know quite enough what the consequences could be when we choose to be in one side or when we choose to be in another side. And then when some questions like that come to our ears, sometimes make us uncomfortable because we start to evaluate what we're supposed to be doing and we are not doing because of. And sometimes you don't want anyone to remind us with those kind of questions. But if we like or not, We all will be facing the consequences of our choices. So we need to be careful of our preferences and how I am allocating my slots in my agenda. I heard many times, oh, you're not giving the right time for this or right time for that. Maybe. What are your priorities? Do you really understand the difference between the materialism and the spiritism, or spirituality, if you like? What is more important? I heard many times, I need to give time to my family. I can only allocate 1 hour per week of my time. And sometimes that was just an excuse because the person did not allocate time at all for his family. So it is up to us, right? That there is not some trace of selfishness in him, that he is not greedy, jealous, resentful, slanderous, and many other things that you do not perceive, since your relationship with him gives you no opportunity to discover them. Sometimes we make a picture of someone for what we know. Most of us here, we never met. Most of us here, we know very little one another. And I may decide to picture one of the persons here as someone very good, very nice person. Sometimes not. Because we are humans. And quite often we deceive others with the picture we want him to see, he or her to see. But deep inside, we all have the same flaws. The difference is how much effort I put into action to reduce my flaws. Perhaps I was able to reduce flaw A better than Munir. Munir put more effort into the flaw B. Leda put more effort in the flaw C. But we all have flaws. But the key is how much effort we put ourselves into action to reduce our flaws. The most powerful means of combating the influence of evil spirits is to approach the nature of the good ones as much as possible. So yeah, so this is explained by the Spirit through Kardec, right? Instead of doing something that's not good, let's do more things that are good, and that will improve our surroundings. Is the obsession that prevents mediums from receiving the communications they desire always a sign of their unworthiness? This is a very interesting thing as well. We're going to be talking about that. I did not say that is a sign of unworthiness, but that there can be obstacles to certain communications. They must endeavor to overcome such obstacles, which are to be found within themselves. If they do not, their prayers and supplications will do nothing. We're going to be talking about that too. It is not enough for a sick person to tell the doctor, give me health, I want to get better. The doctor can do nothing if the sick person doesn't do what is required. Let's go back for the first part here. Unworthiness, right? Someone to be unworthy. I don't think I need to go deep into that. I think we all know what it means. And we, through our study, we all know what is good or what is not good to us, what can be better for us, for family, and so on, right? So we all know that. I'm not gonna go there anymore. So why I don't get messages from brilliant spirits? We need to understand the nature of a communication. We need to understand the nature of the perispirit, of the fluids, right? An example that comes to my mind is a vase where I will pour water to distribute to people. I have a very clean, a sparkly clean vase that I fill with water. And I have another one that hasn't been cleaned for 20 years. Sediments, dust, dirty inside that vase. I also pour the same water, the very same water on that vase. I will come with a tray to serve you with the same water with two different vases. From which vase you want me to offer you the water? The one that's clean or the other one? What happened to the water in the clean vase and with the very dirty vase? I think that's obvious, isn't it? So if I want to be an instrument to good spirits, I need to clean my vase first. I need to put some effort. None of us will be able to be a clean vase on earth. None of us. We have sediments, we have some impurity in our souls. So we won't be a sparkling, clean vase. But we don't need to be a very dirty vase. We can be better. We can improve ourselves. And that will make a difference to know what kind of spirits may communicate through one person. I can give one example, Chico Xavier. Was he perfect? No. Was he 100% clean? Probably not. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on earth. He was a damn good vase to all of us. He was really doing everything we could to become a better recipient for that water. And then there is us, that we do not care. We do very little. I do not open my time. I do not open slots in my agenda to improve myself. But I want to be a venue. I want to channeling. I want to be able to give voice to good spirits. Does it make sense? I don't think so. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Graham. I just like to add to me, because sometimes, I mean, we talk about loss of time, but I think people forget as well that we can do that all the time during the day, because we're always going to be thinking, I think we talked about that, like jealousy or like with envy or talk about the neighbor, but it's the act of being constant vigilance of our thoughts and our words and stop there. And this is already a huge progress, being able to pick up where you start doing it and stop and say, no, I don't want to do it, and you stop. So I think like we can apply the switches like 24 hours. You don't need to dedicate. You can improve yourself constantly. I mean, all the time, because we think all the time. So yeah, sorry, I just want to resolve that one. Just want to say that.
I think what you said is very important, because sometimes when we are listening to someone saying things like I just said. People think on a lot of complicated things. But sometimes it's little and simple things, like you said. Don't be rude. Don't. It's already a step in that good direction, right? It is impossible to be perfect or to improve ourselves 24/7. We have had over and over good examples that it's not impossible, depending on the amount of effort you want to. It's not impossible, because we had examples that were brought to us to tell us, no, it's not impossible. Look what he did, or she did. But the key on simple things or more complicated things is how much time I want to allocate to it, how much importance I want to give to it. You know? Again, none of us, we are perfect. But all of us, we have received the opportunity to get better day after day. If you will get better, if you use that opportunity well, that's another thing. But very good, Denise, very good. Thank you. Another thing that I'd like to speak about that item, that question number 3, is about the prayers. Prayer is definitely not enough. If I do everything wrong, or if I don't do anything, I do a prayer, you may not get the result you are asking. But if you do things right, if you were able to allocate a little bit more time on your agenda to Him, perhaps your prayer will work better. Sometimes we don't even have a time to do a prayer. We forget to do prayers. But my day-to-day allocated time, sometimes I pray already. Am I available when someone calls me asking to have a conversation with me? I'm not talking about any meaningless conversation. I'm talking about someone that is in distress, calling us. Do we give that half an hour of our day to listen? Sometimes the person don't want to even to hear anything from you. He or she just want to speak with you. Do we allocate that half an hour in your day, in our day? When someone is coming to you asking you, okay, can we go with me to, can you help me? Doesn't matter, can you help me? Are we always available to help when someone comes to us? I'm not talking about spiritism, I'm talking help, I'm talking action. Because we don't need to be spiritist or any religious person or any part of any philosophy to do good, not at all. I'm talking about help, a neighbor. Can you just give me a hand to push that thing away here? It's too much for me. I'm too old now. Let's say I'm 90 years old and I'm a bit frail. Can you help me? Are we available? And I'll give another example. Because I don't have time to do good because I need to be with my family. And then my kid asks for my help. Do I allocate that time, that 15 minutes to my kid? Or we are also so busy for them? Don't need to be related to spiritism. Sometimes actions will result better than any philosophy you may have. But then is our agenda, and we manage the agenda, no one else. So let's keep in mind that prayers is a powerful tool. But if I do a prayer only when everything goes wrong, and if I don't do anything to support that prayer in my day-to-day, that prayer may not go very far, and you may not get the result you're wishing for. Then, could the privation of communicating with certain spirits be a kind of punishment? In certain cases, it may be a bona fide punishment, just as the possibility of communicating with them is a reward that they should try to merit. See laws of suspension of mediumship. I'm always available. I really put an additional effort to help people. I'm trying to be a better spiritist. I do my prayers. I do my charity. I'm really trying to be available. Then, if I need some help, will the good spirit be there to try to help me? Possibly yes. Because he won't be that far from you. I don't do anything. I don't put myself available to anything. When I need the help, do I have a good spirit around me? Yes, you will. But perhaps there is a distance that he or she will not be able to breach because you do not allow it to happen. Because we all have a good spirit around us. Let's say our guardian angel is there. But sometimes we keep them away from us. So he tries, and he can't get through. So the two examples I gave, I said that yes, good spirits will be around us. The difference is, in the case A, they will be able to really help you. Case B, they will try. They may not be able to reach you. And it's not because of them, because of us. Hi, Osoli.
That's hi. Good morning. I think every good action during the day we do, but our heart it's a pray to God. I think, yeah, and I true that I believe in that, and that because and help us. It's like a prayer, yes, and that it help us, and at that time we need them, and that they help us. This is very interesting because a good action we do without no interest, only to do because it's a spontaneous. I don't know how to say in English. I think it is it's a prayer to God. I think so, and help us, help us when we need that time. We need when we pray, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. I agree with you. A good action is a prayer, and sometimes it's more effective than nice words, than you trying to show people that you're praying or anything else. Sometimes an action is way better. Can't we also combat the influence of evil spirits by guiding them morally? We spoke about that, right? Yes. And that is exactly what you should do, because it is often a duty that has been given to you, which you should charitably and devotedly fulfill. By means of your good counsels, you may lead them to repentance and hasten in their advancement. And that tip that we just got here is applicable for incarnated and discarnated spirits, right? Because sometimes the spiritist thinks only about helping spirits, and that's not the thing. The discarnated spirit, sorry. No. The thing is to help spirits, incarnated or not, discarnated or not. We need sometimes with our time, with our will, with our conversations, with our counsels, help people that are coming closer to us. How can we have more influence than the spirits themselves in that case? Perverse spirits more often draw closer to humans, whom they seek to torment, rather than spirits, whom they try to avoid as much as possible. When they draw close to individuals who attempt to moralize them, they at first do not listen and even laugh at them. However, if such an individual know how to persist in the matter, these spirits end up being affected by them. High order, but let me stop here. Otherwise, it will be too much and I'll miss things. Persistence. Sometimes when we want to help someone, we need to be persistent, patient, and persistent. Sometimes our examples will work to help others. Hi, Yasmin. Go on.
Yes, go ahead. I talk after you're done.
No, go on. Go on.
Oh, okay. So hi. I wanted to comment this part, to add a comment on this part, because it reminds me a lot when I was working with children and with children from all kind of cultures and families. So it meant it could be rich people, poor people. I'm sorry, my English is is warming up. So, and some of them would be really reluctant to listening to us adults. Like they wanted to avoid rules, to be tricky, and sometimes they would just laugh at us, or at least at the beginning. And our role was to be with them, to guide them, because we were not there as rulers. You have to obey me, I'm the adult. You're just a kid, listen to me, and that's it. It's just the kind of things that would degrade, that would worsen the relationship. And otherwise, but on the contrary, we had to, well, our role as camp managers and everything was to interact with them, to show them that we are worthy to be followed and to be listened to. And it would be just like showing the kids we have one rule and why they should follow it. And because some of them it would take 2 or 3 days to understand. Some of them would just follow from the start. Okay, these adults look rather nice, funny. I don't mind listening to them. I won't do any misbehaviors. And some others would be like trying to see how they could, yes, as I told just before, how they could avoid rules, and the most reluctant of them would just say, I've done this 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 times, and at the 10 times he let me go, so I can start over and start over. And this one will keep grounding me or telling me I mustn't do it. So I will listen to that person because he's persistent. He doesn't abandon on me. And most of the children, sometimes they just want to have attention for people who will take care of them. And sometimes because I don't know how to express their feeling, we don't know their family environment, we don't know their past, but we can act on the day, the moment, the actual moment. And it reminds me a lot what is described in the text. Sometimes when I'm in the street, I have I have 2 examples that I would like to share. I found 2 credit cards in the street, on the street. One in the shop, one on the street. And I had that voice like, you could use it. You need money, you could use it. It's a credit card. We have Wi-Fi connection, you just need to tap it. And nowadays it's like you can use it that way until 50 euros. It's quite an amount of money. And I was just like, no, it's yes, I need money, but no, it's not my credit card. These people might need money as well. And it was like, okay, I will give it at the shop or at the city office right away, because there was an ID card as well with that. But so we have constant thoughts like this in our head. Maybe it's us, we don't know. Maybe it's spirits, but we can try every day to just take a moment. I would like to do something, but right now, yeah, I want to, but no, that's not good. Maybe no, I won't do it, and try to tell to ourselves, I won't do it because this. I won't do it because this. I won't do it because this. And it changes. It changes. At least it changed myself. I don't know. I
will use your examples as something else as well. When we are in front of a dilemma, like you said, should I use the card? Should I not use the card? Do I not need? And there are so many different types of dilemmas in our day-to-day. But when we are in front of something like that, we are not alone. There are people observing us. If I do give the bad example, how can I help them later when I'm trying to say something to them? Very unlikely they will listen to you. But if you do give the right example, in another opportunity, if you have the opportunity to speak with them, they will be more open for your suggestions, for your counsel, right? So every day in life, we are monitored by lots of opportunities, by lots of spirits that are observing us. Especially mediums, there are working mediums mediums that are participate on mediumship meetings or other activities, they are all observed. There's always spirits around us observing if we will fail. Sometimes the opportunities are even prepared by them. And if I do give a good example, like what she gave now, I didn't use the card, or I didn't get something, I didn't break into something, I didn't argue with someone, I did not respond aggressively to someone. It does give us the possibility to help them better in the future, because we are changing our surroundings, our vibrations, our atmosphere. And as we get better, when they come closer to us, like the encosto from Charles, they will see that we are doing our best endeavor. We are doing an additional effort to be better. But if you do the other way around, they will not listen to us. We'll have a hard time to help them. And our time is up. So, Pablo, can you do a final prayer?
Let's just say thank you to our Master Jesus, our spiritual friends, for allowing us and inspiring us today in learning more, being more awake to all the nuances of mediumship, and especially in regards of obsession. May it be of service for us from now on. Thank you, and so be it.
Thank you. Let
I
us all.
think, can I just say, I think a nice analogy is to imagine us all as a team of helpers in the spiritual world, and we can be that team here and now down here.
Mm-hmm. That's what we must be, or at least try to be. Well, I wish you all a very nice weekend.